Hi, I'm Angela Tang, the Director of Operations at Richmond Area Multi-Services, also known as RAMS. May is established nationally as both Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. In 2010, RAMS spearheaded the effort to establish May 10th as Asian Pacific American Mental Health Day in the state of California and the city and county of San Francisco. Since then, it has been adopted in other areas from Bay Area counties to Austin, Texas, and Colorado. Last year, this went national, with congressional resolution recognizing May 10th. This important day was ultimately established because of the recognition of the importance of raising awareness about mental health and promoting mental wellness in the APA communities. There are many contributing factors to one's mental wellness. Today, we are excited to share creative and cultural activities that have shown to help individuals improve their wellness. Be sure to also follow us on social media to see additional workshops throughout the month of May. Thank you for joining us.
Talofa and welcome. My name is Tina Kuresa and I am the Program Coordinator for the Samoan Wellness Initiative Program here at the Samoan Community Development Center, or SCDC. Today, I will be demonstrating the SIVA for Wellness, or as we used to call Hot SIVA before. It was developed in October 16, 2016 by one of the previous coordinators, Niuatoa. So I will now be demonstrating some of the exercises that we use for SIVA for Wellness. The purpose for SIVA for Wellness was developed, it's because for our older folks or the Samoan older folks or the adults, they usually don't have the mentality or doesn't have any knowledge about the doing exercises. But we developed this exercise or SIVA for Wellness in order for them to participate and also for the youth to join while the adults are performing the SIVA for Wellness. I will be demonstrating some moves within using our hands and also our feet. So some of the moves that I will be demonstrating is to move your hands or your arms, which is we can start by on the left side. It's like you're swaying and it's moving your muscle towards the right side. You can repeat that same movement from the right, going forward, also to the left side. We can now demonstrate some moves with using our feet, which is we can step in the front on your right foot and then also bend over on your right side, and then you can back to the normal position, and then you can do the same movement for your left and then bend over onto your left side. Move back. You can also use it moving forward with your left feet and then with your left arm touching the ground. Back. You can repeat the same movement with the right side, down and back. And then we are going to demonstrate other moves with then using our hands again, which is you can start by rolling your both hands from the bottom going up, and then do the same thing going down. You can move your side. Start from the right, rolling up, going down. Also from the left, bottom, going up towards the right. While you are, then you can make these the same movement from the front, going down. While you are repeating this movement, as you can see, it is helping with exercising your back and also your hands and your feet. Now we are going to demonstrate another move for the feet, which is you can step on the side with your right, then your left. You move forward, you move backwards, left, forward, backwards, and then you move back into your steady position. And then also with your legs, you can also use these moves for exercise, which is you can bend down with your hands forward and go back up. You can do this as many times as you can. As you can see, the muscles of your feet and also your hands are moving at the same time, and it is helping you exercise. You can repeat the same movement. The most you can go is 3 or 5 times. It depends on how you are up for doing this exercise. And then the last one. And those are the moments that you can use when it comes to SIVA for Wellness. And that is the importance of SIVA for Wellness for the SWEET program here at SCDC, is to help our adults and also our youth with exercising, which is not usually happens, but it's the same thing as Zumba or aerobics, but we have transitioned this into SIVA for Wellness to help our Pacific Islander community and also our Pacific Islander people that are within our community. Our first exercise for the SIVA for Wellness, we will start or begin with our hands. We will begin by moving our fingers and also our arms from left forward to right. This is one of the movements that is well known to the Samoan SIVA or SIVA for Wellness. And then we will move on to making another move, which is rolling up your hands when you go up and you go back down. We can move to the right for the same movement and all the way up. And then you can move from your left to your right to go back up. And then you can end within the front. Now we are going to demonstrate another move with using our feet, which is right leg. Both of your arms, you bend over, you reach it, move back to your position, and then left, reach out, and then back, and then you move to your right, forward, backwards, you move to your left, forward, backwards. Those are the 4 movements that you can use for SIVA for Wellness if you are at home or somewhere where you are comfortable with exercising, especially for our Samoan older folks and also the youth. Thank you. So from the movements that you have just seen, all the 4 movements that we just put it together, now I'm going to combine it all together, and this is how it works. From left, front to right. Again, rolling from the bottom all the way up. Right and up. Left and up. And then our feet. Reach out. Back. Left. Reach out. Back. Right. Forward. Backwards. Left. Forward. Backwards. And then back to your normal position. So those are the four movements that you can put all together and create SIVA for Wellness to exercise at home. Thank you for joining us today. We want to thank you the community for joining us today for the SIVA for Wellness performance today. You can also check us out on Facebook on the Samoan Wellness Initiative page. We have posted videos. It's the first and the fourth week of every month for the SIVA for Wellness. You can view our different videos there that we updated every month. To please try and exercise for your health and stay healthy. Again, my name is Tina, and I am the program coordinator for the Samoan Wellness Initiative program here at the Samoan Community Development Center. Sofa Soifua.
Warm Pacific Islander greetings. My name is Kevin Niuatoa, and I'm with the Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative. In celebration of Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I would like to invite you. Join me as I show you the process of what many have come to know as leis. A little bit of history about lei making. It actually varies from region to region, so depending on what Pacific island you're from, there's a different name for it. So for the common name here in the United States is lei because of the Hawaiian lei, which is the floral lei making that we're so used to seeing all the time. But in the Samoan culture, it's known as ula. Can you say ula? The more proper term for ula in the Samoan culture is fa'asolo. In Fijian culture, it's known as a salu-salu. And then you also have the Tongan culture, which is known as a kahua. So today, I would like to show you two different styles of ulas. So even though the names are different, the concept itself remains the same. A fa'asolo, or a Hawaiian lei, is used to show signs of appreciation, to show signs of love, and also for a loved one, friends. A lot of times we see them during graduations. We see them often in birthdays, but it's definitely our way, our island way of saying we love you, we appreciate you, and we celebrate you. So in that sense, I would like to go ahead and show you our first lei, or ula. It's a ribbon lei, or a ribbon ula. Normally you'll see these in two colors. And here, I just added a couple to layer it, but the concept itself remains the same. So with the ribbon lei, you would actually need ribbons and a pair of scissors. So you may be asking, Kev, why a ribbon lei? Well, I'm glad you asked. Normally here in the States or a city, we don't have flower or gardens as back home where we can just go out and just pick from our garden, from either our gardens or our trees, where there's a wide variety of flowers and florals that we can choose from, even green leaves. But here in the States, what's a good thing about Pacific Islanders, and that I appreciate most of all, is the fact that we make do with what we have. And so here in the States, one of the ways that we show or continue to carry on this skill of ula making or lei making is using ribbons. So you would pick two ribbons. Normally it would be 18 yards to make one full lei or one full ula, and you will just utilize two colors. What I've done here in this one, I've kind of layered it, but I'm going to show you how. So again, normally if you were to go to Walmart, for instance, it'll be probably like $1.98 for one 18-yard solid ribbon that's 7/8 the size ribbon. And so you just get two colors, whatever your favorite two colors are. Today we'll be using red and white. Normally you wouldn't cut it if it's an 18-yard, but here in this case for instructional purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it so that way you can see actually what I'm going to be doing. So you have your two base colors, red and white. And so if you want to layer or add on a different color, you'll get a ribbon that's slightly a bit skinnier in width that you would just lay on top. So for this particular lay, I'm going to actually be using gold on both the red and the white base color. So you'll go ahead, you'll layer the gold on top of the red, and then you'll layer the gold on top of the white, like so. One thing about ula making or lei making is that it calls for a lot of attention to details. One thing that I appreciate about this is the fact that it causes me to stop and slow down, which ties in a lot with my mental health. To be quite honest, this is actually one of my self-cares, is actually making ulas for just for different occasions. The reason why is because it's a process that's not rushed, and you can't rush it. And if you do rush it, you can tell that the product that you made, the end product, was rushed. So it causes you to slow down, it causes you to focus, and it also causes you to pay attention to detail. So, like so, normally, depending on how you want your design to come out, I actually want my gold ribbons to be on the outer part of the lei, like so. And with that, I have to make sure that the gold ribbons are inside. So what you do is at the one end, take a shaka, which is a Hawaiian way for hang loose, and you'll measure from tip to tip. Then you go ahead and just tie that up. And that'll be your point of departure, starting point. So now we'll separate them. We'll have the white on my right, your left, and the red and gold on my left, your right. So you make the loop of the red, which is on your right, my left, and then I'll just take the white and gold ribbon, wrap around. I'll wrap it around the loop, and then I'll fold it in and insert it into the red loop, like so. Don't worry, you're probably like, oh no, Kev, this is like way too difficult. Don't fret. I'll show you a couple more so that way we can get used to it. Again, the beginning of this is normally the most tedious, but right when you get the hang of it and start doing it, it'll be no problem at all. So we've inserted the white loop into the red and pulled the red. Now we want to do the same thing again. You'll take the red and insert into the white. And at the same time, because you're going to be using both hands, pinch using your thumb to hold the part that's already been woven. And now you're going to pull again. And then you'll take the white part again. You'll insert into the red loop, push up, and then you pull on the red, tightening it. Do it a couple more times. Insert the red into the white and pull. Again, you insert the red into the white and pull. Again, lei making or ula making, really calls for patience. It calls for you to be focused, and it's not meant for you to be rush through, unless you're making like 100 in bulk. But for the most part, lei making is as simple as breathing. Again, we're taking the white loop, inserting into the red, and pull. Now in the beginning, it looked kind of weird and off, but now, as you continue, you see the pattern coming out. I know I told you that I tried to get the gold on the outer part of the ribbon, but in this case, I messed up in the beginning, which is okay. Where we have a different pattern, but the same concept. So depending on how you want your pattern, it's dependent on how you position the ribbons in the beginning. Again, looping, inserting, and pulling. Looping, inserting, pulling. Looping, insert, and pull. Loop, insert, and pull. Loop, insert, and pull. Loop, insert, and pull. Again, as stated before, the patterns is dependent on how you position your ribbons initially, and you can use whatever colors you want. A lot of the times, I believe on YouTube you can find how-tos using the basic 2 colors. I just wanted to up it a little, just in case, especially with Mother's Day around the corner. That way you can have like your little fancy ula when you present it to your sister who's a mother, your mother, your grandmother, even an aunt. And again, it's very easy to do, very simple. So when you come to the end of the ribbon, let's see here, when it's almost going to be finished, what you do is that you take it, loop it, insert it, and you pull, but you pull it all the way out. So that way it remains you can still carry on with the consistency of the lei or the ula. And then for this part, you just fold it up and tie. And then that, my friend, is how you would make a ribbon lei. So again, 18 yards would be the length of one typical ula. That's what I usually make, is 18 yards, and it's $1.98 at Walmart. So to make one lei with two-tone color, with 4 different colors, you're spending no more than $7 just to make one lei. So to finish off this one, as I said before, we have it out, and we're just going to just tie the ends. And then what normally happens, or what I normally do, is that you can glue gun the ends, so that way it's a nice flush, and then you can cut the excess ribbon off, or you can tie the ribbon itself to connect the ends. Or what some people normally do, if I have time, is you make a bow on the side, and then you just attach it at the end by tying it in. This case, and then that's how it would look. Again, it's totally up to you how you connect the ends. Like I said before, you can just tie the end and then cut off the excess ribbons, or like so, or you can have a bow ready already. And then you can decorate the ends by snipping the ends into points, or you can cut them at tips, at an angle to have tip ends. Totally up to you. Once again, with this type of lei making, creativity is limitless. So the more innovative you are and creative you are, the more creative it'll show in your ula. So that's one of the styles of ulas that you can make, and you can use as a gift to adorn a friend, a loved one, or a relative for any special occasion. All right, so one of the ulas that are very common in the Samoan culture is known as an ula lole. Can you say that with me? Ula lole, which pretty much translates into candy necklace or candy lei. Since for most of us, we understand these all to look like a lei. So with this, you would need ribbon. You would need your candy of your choice and a pair of scissors. For me, a lot of the times you would see candy leis that are made out of saran wrap as ways to hold the candies in loosely, and then you'll tie them on the ends. But this specific type of style of ula lole, I call as ula akoroa, or a centipede style necklace. And the reason why is because it ends up looking like a centipede, but it's not using any wrappers. It's just pretty much just tying. Again, it's very simple materials, but again, it causes for a lot of patience, a lot of focusedness and creativity. So you'll start off by candy. Normally I would do wethers because this is my favorite. And then the colors are very nice too. So you can use any color ribbon. And the candies itself are in gold wrap. So you would take a bag of wethers is about $9, $9.98 plus tax. So you're spending no more than $11 to make this necklace. So you'll take these, and because I've done this so many times, I have it down to a science, right? Too bad they don't have degrees in lei making, huh? Or ula making. But nevertheless, you would need about 80 to 90 pieces of wethers. Again, some people, I've used double bubba, which are any candy that has wrappers on both ends, so that way you can tightly secure it with a ribbon. So with the wethers, you need about 80 to 90 pieces to make one full lei, or one full ula lole candy necklace. And then with the ribbon, this particular style that I do is that I just use one ribbon and I tie the whole way through around. So that's why it's such a long ribbon. I don't normally measure, and a lot of the times when we do these things, it's by eyesight, right? So we'll just go with it. If there's any excess, we'll just snip it off, and if it's not enough, normally we'll just join it with a new strand. So for this, to start off the tie, you will take a wether or the candy of your choice to have two ends. Make sure it has two ends because you're going to need the ribbon to tie both ends. Take one. You'll take one end of the ribbon. You'll take it and just tie it on. Just like you're tying a knot. So you tie the knot. Uh-oh. Doesn't want to tie with me this morning. So you'll tie the knot and secure it by, it does not want to tie, by safely securing it onto the wrapper. Gotcha. So like a regular tie, you're tying onto the can. This is the first step. like so. Then you take the next one, unwrap one end, and then the one that you tied already, you'll stand it up, and then you put the next one next to it, like so. So to securely fasten this one, the pattern is loop it around the candy, pinch the two ends, extend the loop, and pull the string. And then you'll tighten. So again, you will loop around the candy, pinch the end, extend the loop, and pull the string. So you're pretty much knotting each one individually. And you know you've done it right when they're actually hanging or dangling by itself. Let's try a couple more. So again, you're probably like, Kev, that looks way too complicated. But the good thing about ula making is the fact that it causes for your attention. It calls for you to be patient, and it calls for you to be focused on detail. Okay, so again, you'll take a candy, unwrap one end, don't open it all the way, just enough so that way you can tie it on. You'll take the ribbon, you'll place it on top of the ribbon, wrap it around in a loop, you'll pinch the ends, extend the loop, and then you'll pull the ribbon through. And then you'll tightly secure the ribbon. Don't pull too hard. A lot of times when I was first learning how to do this, I would always snap the ribbon because I was pulling too hard. And if that's the case, you just take it and start it all over again as if it was a first one. So again, you take the candy, place it on top of the ribbon, loop the ribbon around, extend the loop, and you pull through. I've been doing a lot of candy ula making necklaces for quite some time. Normally we grow up doing it for our relatives when they graduate from school, or if it's like a special event at church, especially for special holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. We have, it's like Children's White Sunday, where we honor the youth and they lead services for those of us who are affiliated with the denomination. But yeah, when I first learned how to do this, and this would be a good moment to honor a few Pacific Islanders who've made a difference in my life. I actually learned how to do this because we were actually making candy lace for a special event that we had at church. And so I would like to honor, for Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I would like to honor the women, the mothers of First Samoan Congregational United Church of Christ, Light of Life. And this particular skill was actually taught to our youth by one of the mothers, Elena Tuyo, and also Ngaole Malila Yafa, who I would like to name, who were two of the few that taught us how to do these. And we did it all night. I can remember the first time. It was very tedious, but the style that we did, we actually didn't connect it. We just wore it down like a long, what we would Hawaiian lace look like. It's like a Hawaiian mighty lei, like a tea leaf lei. But I ended up deciding to connect it to make it circular, just to be different. And so that's how we ended up with the centipede lei. Again, there are different ways of knotting and tying them together or connecting them, but this is just the way that I picked up. I also know that you can braid it using 3 strands of ribbon as well. But for the most part, I find this to be a little bit more easier and faster for me. So as you're trying to get the hang of laying the candy on the ribbon, rolling it, looping it around the wrapper, pinching the wrapper, extending the ribbon, and pulling, before you know it, you'll almost be done. Crafts for me, especially when it comes to candy lay making or flower making or flower lay making, it really causes us to, well, it causes me to stop and reflect. It causes me to, and it helps a lot with my mental health, because that's sometimes you don't be so busy in life that you don't have time for yourself. But doing these types of arts and crafts, or this skill, it really does give you time to reflect and think about the different types of patterns and designs you would like to make out of these. So that's what I really appreciate about it. And a lot of the times my family members are like, well, those take too long. It takes too long to do, and that's just too much time we don't have. Sometimes it's necessary for us to just stop and take a breather. You may ask, Kev, well, how long does this take you since you're tying everyone individually? I'm glad you asked. Before, it would take me about an hour and a half, like maybe even 2 hours just to do one. And again, it's like 80 to 90 pieces. But now, I wouldn't say that I do it faster, but I move a bit quicker with it. And I'm able to do one now in about 30 to 40 minutes, which is a lot quicker than before, but 30 to 40 minutes to stop and think about and reflect, especially when you don't normally have the time to do it, it means a lot. So again, as we're coming for this candy lay, you're just looping again, you're unwrapping, laying it on top of the ribbon, pinching the ends, extending the loop, and pulling to fasten and secure. Again, you're unwrapping, laying it on top of the ribbon, pinching the 2 ends, extending the loop, and you're pulling the string through. And then you pull to fasten and secure. Now, remember how I said normally I use a very long strand, so that way I don't have to keep on cutting. I'll just use the whole one that one strand to tie everything together. So when you're connecting and you're about to come back around, what you do is that you unwrap the other end, you lay it on top of the ribbon, loop it around, extend your loop, pull the string through, and then you fasten to secure. Then you do the same concept again. Unwrap the end, lay it on the ribbon, loop around the wrapper, pinch the 2 wrappers as you extend the loop, and you pull the string to fasten and secure. Do that a couple more times so that we can get the hang of it. I implore you to not give up. As again, it may come off tedious, but give it a try. Give it some time. And most of the times it won't come out the way you want it the first time. But the good thing about these things is there's no right or wrong way to do it. Actually, what matters most is the fact that you put your time and effort into making something beautiful to honor and celebrate someone that you love and appreciate. All right, we can do a couple more. So again, there's many ways to secure the wrapper, but this is just the way that I found to be very convenient and easy for me. All right, so you lay on top, wrap the ribbon around the wrapper, pinch the two ends together, extend your loop, and pull the string through to safely fasten and secure. And then it'll come out like this. So you're wondering now, after your 80 and 90 pieces are done, you should have something like this. And the concept again is a ula akolua, or a centipede necklace, because it gives off the vibes of a centipede. So this one I haven't finished yet. I'm going to be finishing with you. So again, the same concept as I close out the last few candies from the other end. Open up the wrapper, wrap around the wrapper that you open, pinch, extend your loop, and pull. Again, open up your wrapper, lay over your ribbon, wrap around, pinch, extend your loop, and pull the string through. And as you come to the very last one, which is the beginning of the necklace, it's the same concept. Lay the wrapper on the ribbon, loop around, extend the loop, and voila, you have yourself a ula lole. So for these, normally you can just leave them as it is, or you could be fancy and make yourself a ribbon. So using the same material, you ain't got to go nowhere. I'm going to show you how to make a quick ribbon. So the two ends to the necklace, I just tied them so that way we can have like it's not dangling, and I'll show you what we'll use those for afterwards. The leftover ribbon that you have, just in case your excess was a lot, I'll just take them, and then I'll just crunch them up. Like so. And we'll try to use everything. And then you'll just cut the ends. Again, the end for the decoration, or if you want to put in a ribbon or a bow, it's totally up to you. I normally do, so that way you can accentuate the color of the ribbon that was used to tie these. And so what I do is, since I have them all cut, I'll just pinch them like so. And then I'll take the sharp part. Be very careful. And if you're doing this project with the young ones, make sure that they don't do this, or have them use safety scissors. But more so, make sure an adult is present. You just take the sharp part of the scissors or a knife or a butter knife, and you run it through to curl the ribbon, like so. Again, what's good about this is that this causes you to have to pay attention, and it causes you to pay attention to detail. Because what you don't want to do is give away a candy lay that, or a lay period, that's not up to your criteria, or your standards rather, or something that you don't like. So the same for the other side. Just run the sharp part of the scissors to create curls out of the strands. And then I also found it a good hack is that the way that the ribbon curls in is where you would actually put the knife at, or the sharp part, because then it'll curl quicker and it'll curl tighter. So we're looking for tight curls. And they will come out like so. Remember the part that you pinched, right? And so the part that we had tied on here, you just go ahead, wrap it in the middle, and then tie it to secure it. And then I normally would tie that to, or would curl it to. And then you just play around with it to give it the bow that you're looking for. Again, these are very cost efficient. They won't bend or break your wallet. And given the time and labor of love that you put into it, really makes a difference when presenting an ulole for your loved one, like so. All right, so again, we have our ribbon lay and also our ulolole. Again, for those, if you're wondering, how do you go about making floral lay? It's very easy. A lot of times, especially here for us here in San Francisco in the Bay Area, we tend to see a lot of orchid lays. So it takes about 40 to 60 orchid pieces. You can buy it at your nearest flower mart. You would need a floral needle and some, you can use dental floss, which is very cheap, as a thread, or even floral thread, to just thread the flowers, the petals of the flowers, onto the floral needle. Again, it's based off of how creative you are and the image of how you want the design to look like. So for the double orchid lace, normally you will get the lace, you'll break off the stem, and then you'll take the petals and you'll just weave them onto the floral needle. But you'll lay them sideways, but they'll all be pointing in different directions. And then it's dependent on you how you want the design to look. And then again, it's about 40 to 60 days, very simple. But the thing is that since we're here in the city, we don't have gardens and we don't have access to the type of flowers that we do back if we were back home on our land and in the islands. But like I said before, one thing that I'm very proud and honored about Asian Pacific Islander people is that we make do with what we have. And so far, we've been very innovative to come up with these different type of styles. Hopefully, you'll make your own and then show us your end product and who you gave it to. On behalf of RAMS and the Pacific Islander Wellness Initiative, we would like to once again wish you the best for Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Until then, take care.
Hi, I'm Dominica, and welcome to my kitchen. Something I love about living in the Bay Area is we have access to amazing ingredients that we can use in cooking. And one of my favorite things to do is to play around and create fusion food.
So today I'm going to make for you an Indian-Italian fusion stuffed bell pepper.
You don't have to memorize all this information. At the end of the video, I will list all the ingredients and the amounts to be used. But I did want to talk a little bit about what's in front of me. I know it looks like a lot, But what's amazing about this recipe is that you can add and take away based on your liking or what you have in your pantry. So what we have here is salt and pepper, finely chopped garlic, chopped ginger, cumin, paprika, garam masala, Italian seasoning, of course, if you're in my kitchen, a shallot, half a serrano pepper, finely chopped, about 5 or 6 sprigs of cilantro, finely chopped, and we have a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a half a can of tomato sauce. There is some ingredients I'm going to pull from the refrigerator in a little bit, including ground turkey, a touch of cream, and a few other items that I'm keeping refrigerated for now. We also have arborio rice, and I know that this is a type of rice that's very intimidating because when people think arborio rice, they think risotto, but I promise you it's not as difficult as it seems. And in this particular recipe, it makes the stuffed bell peppers so creamy and so hearty. And so we'll talk a little bit about how to make arborio rice. And I promise you, this is a very forgiving version of risotto, and Gordon Ramsay's not going to pop out of the pantry and tell you you're doing it wrong. So let's get cooking. All right, so here we are. We're ready to get started. So I'm going to start with the rice. So the trick with arborio rice is that you want warm fluid that you're adding to it. So in this case, I put a couple cups of vegetable stock and a couple cups of water in this back pan, and it's heating up. And I am going to use the smaller pan for the rice. So once it's heated up, you can kind of feel that it's warm. I'm going to add some olive oil in there. And I'm going to take just a little bit of the shallots that we had set aside and just put a light sprinkle in there. I'd say maybe a quarter of the shallot. And then I am going to bump this up a little bit. And I'm going to let the onions start to sizzle a little bit. And so we can hop over to this pan, which I have already heated up. And so kind of same thing, we're gonna add the olive oil, a pretty good coating, so that we can really get these onions to sweat. And I am going to add the rest of the shallot and the garlic. I'm just going to let this heat up. You can hear it sizzling. Okay. And then I'm going to hop back over here. Give these a stir. I'm going to let them sweat just ever so slightly more. Get things sizzling. Okay. Now, the next step in the rice is I am going to drop this rice in here and just toast it until it's slightly translucent, but not too translucent. We definitely don't want to burn it. And another trick to making arborio rice is you want to make sure you keep it moving. It's okay to leave it settled, but you definitely want to keep it moving so it cooks evenly. All right, it's starting to smell good in here. So I am going to add the chopped ginger to my onion and garlic mixture in the pan and let that continue to cook. And I'm going to hop back over to this rice that needs all the love and care, and I am going to ladle by ladle add the fluid. So what you want to do is you want to add some of your mixture, and you can use vegetable stock or meat stock, but adding a little bit of water helps to water it down, literally. So I'm going to put that in there and keep it moving, like I said before. And I am going to wait to add more until this has been completely absorbed in the rice. And I always like to have just extra fluid because it's a lot easier to add that vegetable stock and water mixture, but it's harder to pull it out of the fridge and re-warm it when you're in the middle of cooking. So I recommend having a little extra. So now that our onions have been given a chance to sweat and everything is mixed up here, I'm going to add the ground turkey. So I'm just using a half a pound of ground turkey, and then we are going to get that cooking and browning. Once the turkey's been cooking for a few minutes, you can see it is changing color. I am going to add the rest of the goodies. So we have about a half of a can of tomato sauce, and my goal is to just kind of make sure it's distributed well enough so it coats that turkey. And we're gonna toss in all the herbs. So I'm going to start with the serrano, half the serrano pepper. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a stir to make sure that gets incorporated. If you want it a little bit more spicy, you can keep the seeds in. If you don't want it spicy, then you can take the seeds out. You can also substitute a different pepper if you prefer. And then I'm just gonna add the rest of these amazing spices that we have here. Salt and pepper to taste, got our paprika, and then our chopped cilantro. And now, after incorporating this, I'm gonna let this simmer for about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes. It really depends on your stovetop. But just, you want it to reduce so that it's a little bit more of a thick mixture. All right, so as soon as your meat mixture is done, and I'll kind of give a view of it, it's thickened up. What I love to do before incorporating the rice is do a tiny little touch of heavy cream. Of course, this can be omitted if you don't want to mix dairy and meat, but just give that a little bit of a turn. Again, it just adds to that richness and creaminess of the dish. And then I'm going to take the arborio rice. So with the rice, it's about 3/4 of the way done. I leave it a little bit chewy because it's going to continue to cook when it's in the oven. So I'm going to incorporate these two, and then we're going to put the good stuff in the bell peppers. Some people prefer to have them stand up with a little cut on the top. I think that this is just a little bit easier to cook and easier to eat when they're cut this way. I'll leave it up to you how you want to do. So of course what we're going to do is we're going to fill these bell peppers, throw them on the sheet pan. I am going to sprinkle a little bit of the Parmesan on top and stick it in a preheated oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. Now it's time for the best part. I have to take a taste. Delicious. Food is not only fun, but it's something that brings us together around the table to have conversations with our loved ones and new people too. I hope you enjoyed the show today, and thank you for joining me in my kitchen.
Today's show was brought to you by Rams Inc. You can learn more about this great nonprofit at ramsinc.org. Thank you for joining us today. Nonprofits like Rams need your support more than ever. Consider donating and learn how at ramsinc.org/donate.